Hello everybody and welcome back to the Gacha news segments on the 5-9 Gaming Network. I'm your co-host Nolar and I bet you're surprised to see me. I'll be filling in for Sly this week as he is busy, being a Florida man, fighting with Mother Nature. All jokes aside, we wish him a safe day. As always, if you are enjoying the content on the channel, please remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to stay up to date with all the content we put out on the channel. Without further ado, let's get into the news. I'm sure you might be wondering why Iron isn't starting us off this week as he normally does. Well, the reason for that is this week, he and Sly agreed that this first season news was so important, it had to be said first. Ever heard of the anime called Fullmetal Alchemist? If you have, then you're in luck. Square Enix has announced that a Fullmetal Alchemist mobile game is in development. Unfortunately, there's no release date yet, as this announcement only came out a couple days ago. However, in this article, it does state that more information will be announced this winter. There's also a trailer, so let's take a quick look. Looks really exciting, and we look forward to covering any further news for the game. Next up will be Fate Grand Order. The Summer 3 event has made its return, and with it comes Summer Jeanne d'Arc, Ushi Wakamaru, and Ibaraki Doji. Jeanne is an archer with an ability to AoE her enemies using her NP. For those who may not understand what NP is, it is Servant's Noble Phantasm, and is essentially their ultimate skill. As she is an arts-based unit, her ability to NP loop is extremely easy to achieve, and she is a great option for those wanting to clear easy nodes. Ushi Wakamaru makes her limited appearance as a quick assassin unit with an ability to loop well with Scotty, as she is able to deal AoE damage on her NP, as well as having an NP battery on herself. Ibaraki is a buster with a great ability to support the team with her ability to increase party attack while also boosting her own NP strength and generation rate. She can also be extremely strong as an individual and against single enemies, as her NP is ST, single target. Alongside these units returns the Summer 3 event, Servant Summer Festival Light. In this event, you can farm various materials across multiple stages in order to acquire Berserker Summer Jeanne d'Arc Altar, or just Summer Jalter for short. You can get her full NP5 for free just by playing and farming the event. Event ends on July 29th at midnight EDT, so be sure to farm it while you can. It is also time to begin the second part of the 4th anniversary of Danmachi Memorial Freeze. With the second part, we are getting a lot of goodies. First up will be 2 new banners. The first banner will have Artemis, Asphi, and Hyacinthos. The second banner will have Ryu, Aisha, and Apollo. Both have the normal 10-step summoning feature and will guarantee a new 4-star unit for steps 1, 4, 7, and 10. Along with both of these banners comes a new mission called Tons of Iris Mission. Clear the mission and earn 1500 Iris, which is nearly 4 multis. Lastly, we will also be receiving 4th anniversary medals and exchange items. With these items, you can exchange for various luxurious items such as Ascension medals, tickets, and adventurer bonds. Be sure to farm the events while they're around to take advantage of the free items as much as possible. Lastly, we have the next summer event lineup for Dragalia Lost. Tonight's reset banner at the time of this recording will begin the Dragalia Remix Showcase banner. This banner will use the last 4 remaining free multis available, so for the next 4 days, you'll be able to do 1 free multi a day. With this banner comes 3 new limited units and 1 return of a Gala adventurer. Starting us off will be Summer Yasu. He is a water sword adventurer. Let's quickly go over his kit. His first skill will deal damage to enemies directly ahead and activate skill shift if the attack connects. Phase 2 inflicts bleeding, while Phase 3 inflicts both bleeding and frostbite, as well as dispels 1 buff from each target. Phases 1 and 2 will also immediately ready the user's initial skill for use, which is this skill. His second skill will deal extra damage to bleeding enemies and grants a strength amp upon second use of the skill. Next we have Summer Mitsude. She's a flame dagger adventurer. Let's look at her kit. Her first skill will deal damage to the target and nearby enemies and will inflict Scorch Rend. And if the user has at least 1 Sizzling Sunflower, a different variation of this skill will be used. This new variation will deal damage to the target and nearby enemies, and will deal bonus damage based on the combo count. It will also consume 1 Sizzling Sunflower and immediately readies this skill. Her second skill grants her these sunflowers and allows for her kit to work hand in hand. Lastly, the new Summer Dragon is Summer Marishiten. His abilities will grant 70% strength to water adventurers and give 100% skill prep. As for the rerun Gala unit, it is Gala Leonidas, a flame mana caster adventurer, and is one of the most sought after units in the game. It's a new week, which means the next battle in the Trials of the Mighty event. This time it is Grimir's trial, and he will grant convictions and devotions needed to Mana Spiral Akashna. Lastly, we have 2 new events going on. First is the defense battle, the Fabled Fortune. If you've been around for a while, you will know that these defense battles, along with the Onslaught events, are honey gold mines. Farm up to 2 million points to receive all the honey available in this event. The second event will be a rerun of last year's facility event called Rhythmic Resolutions. It will gift the player the facility called Festival Stage. This facility can now reach level 35 and will buff the stats of all sword and lance adventurers. That will do it for me this week. Slide will be back next week. Now over to Ironcane to close us out.
Thanks, Nolar. It's nice to have you come on every now and then. Alright, I got a good bit here to go through, so let's not waste any more time. If you're a last Cloudia fan, then boy, have I got some news for you. First up, it was announced that a Steam version of the game will be coming soon. Unfortunately, that is all the information I have at the moment about it, but it is cool to see gachas make their way to PC, opening the door for others to follow suit down the line as well. Now, you may be wondering, will I be able to transfer my progress back and forth? Well, you absolutely can. All you need is your account's link code and you're all set to go. Now, that's not all. The game also just launched a collaboration with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood today. I know Nolar mentioned earlier that the series will be getting its own game in the future, but if you want an early fix of Fullmetal Alchemist, why not try out the collaboration? In terms of what's coming, there will be 3 new exclusive units. The first is Edward Elric, who will be playable and have his own unique sprite and 2D arts. Second is Alphonse Elric, who will be receiving similar treatment. And lastly, there's Roy Mustang. There will also be 2 arcs during the crossover event, the first being Automail Mechanic, which starts today on the 15th, and the second is called Oh No, It Starts to Rain, which will begin on the 21st of this month. If you really want the new units, you can get Edward and Roy guaranteed by reaching lap 3 by summoning on their corresponding gachas. For Alphonse, you don't even need to summon. As long as you complete his event, you'll get him for free. Beyond that, players can also collect collaboration exclusive stamps and gear, so there's definitely a lot to sink your teeth into. All of the information I relayed to you here came from the game's TV Summer Special, so if you want to check it out yourself, please look in the description below. Last Cloudia is available on Android and iOS for global, CN, and JP, with a Steam version coming in the near future. On the topic of cool crossovers, Puzzle & Dragons will be having a collaboration with Jujutsu Kaisen. The event will start on July 26th and end on August 9th. The collaboration is bringing in a ton of characters, 14 in total. Let me go over them really quick and try not to butcher all of their names. So first there's Yuji Itadori, Megumi Fushiguro, Nobara Kugisaki, Satoru Gojo, Kento Nanami, Maki Zenin, Toge Inumaki, Panda, easy enough, Aoi Todo, Noritoshi Kamo, Mamo Nishimiya, Mai Zenin, Kasumi Miwa, and lastly, Ultimate Mekamaru, which sounds like a fake name, but I swear it's real. Some characters like Yuji will have special transformations as well, from base form to change to ultimate evolution. Yuji is unique where he has 2 transformations, whereas the others that transform only go up from base to ultimate. The game's official Twitter for JP will also be holding 2 special campaigns. In the first, participants can win some free goodies based on the collaboration by following the Twitter page and retweeting. And in the second, users can get a free draw on the banner when it releases if the corresponding tweet gets a certain number of likes. As of now, the collaboration will be a JP exclusive, with no word of the event coming to any other versions of the game. Puzzle & Dragons is available on Android and iOS devices for global, KN, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and JP. So now that we've gone over some hype announcements, let's jump into some juicy controversies, shall we? In our first bit of controversial news, we have Atelier Online Alchemist of Bressisle, a game that didn't release too long ago, coming out on July 8th for global. So for starters, the game has been delayed for iOS users. Although the blame doesn't fall on the develober Bolt Trend for this one and more on Apple, it's still unfortunate that a chunk of the player base is unable to play the game currently. That being said, there are some things players are upset at the developers for. When the title released, it had very lackluster pre-registration rewards, giving players only 15 coal, which is just enough for a single pull on a banner. 300 coal is what you need for one multi. And for the banners themselves, the rates vary depending on whether you're using paid or free currency, which isn't anything too crazy. Free gachas have a 2% chance for characters, and paid has 5%. The part that frustrates players is the fact that currently the only launch celebration banner is a paid banner. Now, I'm not here to rag on the game or its developers for the sake of it. I'm here to voice the concerns of the players in attempts to inform the community better. Hopefully, as the game goes on, the developer can have some sort of compromise that is feasible to them and will make players happy. That being said, if you'd like to try Atelier online, Alchemist of Bressisle, the game is available on Android for JP, CN, and Global, with the iOS version for Global still experiencing some issues. In our second piece of controversial news, we have Tales of Crestoria that's a little more sad than the previous one. So, you know how most gachas have one of those, hey idiots, like and retweet this post a million times and get free stuff. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like those retweet campaigns. If you're one of those people like me that look at these and don't bat an eye because you think you'll get the rewards no matter what, well, you'd be wrong. Sadly, the goal of 10,000 retweets for the campaign wasn't met, and players ended up not getting the 200 free pulls as a reward. Note that the game's first anniversary is literally this week, so the fact that the goal wasn't reached during this time is pretty alarming. The PR team for the game could be at fault though. There was no mention of the campaign on the global version's Twitter page, and there wasn't even an announcement in-game for the JP version either. With this in mind, it was announced that there will be a part 2 of the campaign, so hopefully things will go better then. Also, there was a stream earlier today for the game done by VTubers, which is definitely interesting. They freaked me out, but hey, if you're interested, this stream was done on Fubuki's channel if you want to check that out. Tales of Crestoria is available on Android and iOS devices for Global and JP. And possibly more uplifting news, Konosuba Fantastic Days for Global may not be developed by Nexon after all. Now, if you don't know the history of Nexon, the clip notes are basically they are kind of like the EA of gacha games. Basically, they are notorious for not being very consumer friendly. According to a DM on Discord from a supposed employee of Nexon, Fantastic Days isn't being developed by Nexon and they aren't the original publishers either. Which brings up the question as to what their involvement actually entails and who the quote-unquote real developer is. Now, take this story with a grain of salt. Who knows if this user on Discord is a legitimate employee of Nexon or just some random dude. Either way, if this is true, it is pretty funny that Nexon would try to disassociate themselves with the game, basically acknowledging and accepting their notoriety. But as it stands, Nexon is still publishing the game, so they will be the ones making the decisions for the global version unless something changes. Konosuba Fantastic Days is available on Android and iOS devices for JP currently, with global being up for pre-registration. Now for some news that I'm personally excited for, NieR Reincarnation is launching on July 28th. And yes, we know that already, but when the game launches for global, it'll have a collaboration with NieR Automata up as well, meaning that characters like 2B, 9S, and A2 will be playable in Reincarnation at launch if you're able to pull them on the gacha, of course. And God, please, I hope I do. The JP version of the game released with the same event, so one could assume that the global version will mirror JP, albeit a couple months behind. So if the game continues to follow the path of the JP game, players can expect a collaboration with NieR Replicant and Drakengard down the line as well. If you're at all interested in the title, Gail and I did a first impressions video on the beta a little bit ago, so check it out if you want to hear our thoughts. NieR Reincarnation is available on Android and iOS devices for JP currently, with a global release coming on July 28th. Recently, we talked about Girl Cafe Gun and its announcement of receiving a global version in the future. Things were looking good until this statement. The game will be officially shutting down its JP version on August 31st. Not much has been revealed as to why the game will be ending its service, but it is certainly concerning with the global version on the way. That being said, the JP version of the title isn't the game's home server. That would be the CN version, so unless the CN version shuts down, there is still a future for the game. Now, time for another shameless plug. If you're interested in Girl Cafe Gun at all, Trocho and Nolar did a video on the channel playing the game, so please check it out if you want to see what the game is like. Girl Cafe Gun is available on Android and iOS devices for CN currently, with the JP version shutting down August 31st, and the global version releasing sometime in the near future. In a little under a week's time, Genshin Impact's 2.0 update will be out with a bunch of new content in store. The update will release on July 21st, and with it, players will be able to explore a brand new area called Inazuma, the realm of the Electro Archon inspired by Japanese culture. Inazuma is described to be as a chain of islands filled with tea houses, shrines, enemy ronin to fight, cherry blossoms, and it even has its own shogun. 3 new summonable characters will be introduced in the update as well, like Kamisato Ayaka, a 5-star cryo swordsman and daughter of the Kamisato clan. Her banner will release on July 21st, the same day the 2.0 update releases. Next, there's Yoimiya, a 5-star pyro archer and firework extraordinaire. Her banner will release sometime after Ayaka's. Lastly, there's Sayu, a 4-star amino user that has the ability to wield a claymore despite her small stature. Sayu will also be featured on Yoimiya's banner. Other than that, there will be new artifacts and weapons to collect, new bosses to fight, and events to complete. Speaking of events, in the Thunder Sojourn event, you can get a copy of Bido, an electric user that wields a claymore, for free upon completion. Another new event called Phantom Flow will be available as well, and players get rewarded for completing challenges at varying difficulties. Returning events include the Tower Defense-like minigame Theater Mechanicus and Lee Line Overflow, but this time players can get double rewards. Lastly, the update will even introduce gardening. By acquiring the seed dispensary from Madam Ping, players will be able to buy beds and plant seeds they collect in the open world. So, as you can tell, this is a pretty hefty update for Genshin. And with a new area to check out, I may return to the game myself as well. If you'd like to check out the trailer that we've been using for B-roll, that shows pretty much everything that's coming, please look in the description below. Genshin Impact is available on Android and iOS devices, PC, PS4, and PS5 worldwide. And for my last story, Girls' Frontline project Neural Cloud is currently in open beta until the 27th of July. There's no limit to how many accounts you can make for the beta, and all purchases will be retained when the official release comes out, but all progress will be wiped. To be eligible to participate in the beta, you must have a Bilibili account and name verification, since the beta is only for CN. If you're unfamiliar with the title, it's a prequel to the original Girls' Frontline game, with the playstyle being that of an auto chess battler, with some roguelike mechanics as well. So if you're at all interested in trying out the beta, please look in the description below for instructions. Girls' Frontline Project Neural Cloud will be available on Android and iOS devices for CN sometime in the future, with no word of the game releasing for other versions at this time. That's it for this week's Gacha News. I'm your co-host, Ironcane, and before I head out, I just want to thank Nolar for hopping in on today's episode on such short notice. And of course, thank you for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and remember, always wash behind your ears. Peace out, guys.